Everyone says Dollar Tree sells only low-quality dupes of big brands, but few people dare admit that they secretly buy some of those items a second time. You'd be awesome if you subscribed and liked this video. Locking lid freezer container. Many people have asked how a $1.25 container can hold water so tightly, while brands like OXO Good Grips or lines from the Container Store cost 10 to 15 times more for the same function. To be blunt, this is a straight dupe. Dollar Tree copied the locking design of big brands almost exactly. That is why quite a few people remain wary when hearing the name Dollar Tree, automatically assuming cheap means low quality. I used to have the exact same doubts, until I tested it myself. The four-sided locking latches combined with a thick rubber gasket along the rim give almost identical results. It prevents leaks even when I carry it upside down all day in my work bag. The material is heat-resistant, BPA-free plastic. It goes straight from the freezer into the microwave without needing a container swap halfway through. The bad reputation Dollar Tree often gets comes mostly from people who haven't tried well-made dupes like this one. If you prep meals for the week like I do, this item is worth buying in bulk this time. This type of budget container isn't always fully stocked on Dollar Tree shelves. I bought 6 at once for under $8 to portion out chicken soup for a busy week. Saving that price difference to spend on organic food at Costco or Aldi makes much more sense. The locking joints are a bit stiff during the first few openings. Don't worry, you will get used to it quickly, and that is a very small price to pay for such a worthwhile dupe. This container dupes OXO unbelievably well, but there is a tiny tablet right next to it that dupes a famous washing machine care brand. Washing machine cleaner tablets. Front-load washing machines often start to smell musty after a while. Clothes come out with a faint, unpleasant odor even if you switch through various scented fabric softeners. This $1.25 tablet pack of 2 turns out to be a nearly perfect dupe of the Afresh tablet sold at Home Depot for $12 a box of 6. They share the same active ingredient, sodium percarbonate, which foams vigorously to dissolve soap scum and limescale buildup deep inside the drum where regular rinse water cannot reach. The usage is simple. Just drop 1 tablet into the empty drum and run a hot water cycle. After about an hour, the machine is spotless, and the smell is completely gone. I compared it to the expensive brand before, and the odor-eliminating results are truly not much different, even though the tablet size is slightly smaller. The biggest difference is the price. The cost per cleaning drops from over $2 down to about 60 cents. It is a small savings, but it adds up over the months and is worth your attention. If you are looking to keep your washing machine clean without spending a lot of money every month, this item is worth grabbing on your next Dollar Tree visit. This small pack isn't always available year-round. Sometimes it stays out of stock for a month before being imported again. If you see it on the shelf, you should buy a few extra packs to stock up. You can save them for future cleanings without having to run out and search for them all over again. Silicone stretch lids. You can stretch this pair of silicone lids to 1.5 times their original size, creating a vacuum suction when adhered to the rim of a bowl. They have good heat resistance, so they can be used in both the freezer and the dishwasher without worrying about losing their shape or hardening over time. This is a direct dupe of the food wrap lids heavily advertised on TV for nearly $20 for 3 pieces, whereas this version costs only $1.25 for 2 pieces. Yet the stretch and grip are not inferior at all. Trying it out, you can immediately feel the real elasticity rather than a flimsy build just for show. Leaving a half-eaten watermelon or a large grapefruit for the whole family is a common occurrence in American kitchens during the summer. Instead of struggling with plastic wrap that keeps peeling off and letting fridge odors seep in, this pair of lids solves that problem neatly from the very first use. The original version features a rotating dial to select the day of the week, while the Dollar Tree version does not. But you can just use a dry erase marker to write directly on the lid, which is hardly a concern compared to the nearly 15-fold price difference between the two sides. This type of lid sells quite well, so it is not always fully stocked on the shelves, and sometimes it runs out completely for a while before being restocked. If you are looking for a way to keep food fresh longer in the fridge without spending a lot of money on lids, you should grab a few pairs at once if you see them in stock, using them gradually for various bowls and dishes in your house, without having to come back to search for more later. This silicone lid even dupes the vacuum technology of the TV product, but there is a tumbler nearby that makes you mistake it for real Starbucks merchandise. Studded cold tumbler. A shimmering surface, a sturdy feel in the hand, and a double-wall construction that provides light insulation and reduces sweating to keep your desk from getting wet. That is the first impression when holding this studded tumbler. Priced at only around $1.25. Many people have to look closely a second time because they mistake it for the Starbucks studded tumbler selling for $25 to $35 at the counter. In terms of appearance and trendiness, this dupe resembles the original so closely that it is hard to tell apart unless you hold it up close for a thorough inspection. On several budget hunting groups, quite a few people left comments saying that the first time they saw this tumbler on the shelf, they thought employees had stocked the wrong merchandise because the studded design and surface gloss are much more eye-catching than the price tag attached to it. The tumbler comes with a straw and a screw-on lid, equipped with a tight rubber gasket, with the only difference being that the plastic holds ice for about 3 to 4 hours instead of all day like the vacuum-insulated metal tumblers commonly seen. A point to consider if you often leave your tumbler untouched for many consecutive hours. Have you ever paid tens of dollars for a tumbler just because you like the brand name printed on it? You can use this tumbler to hold water at your work desk or take it along in the car whenever you go grocery shopping, performing far better than its price tag. For less than $1.50, the feeling of holding it is nearly as upscale as the original, which is worth tens of dollars, which is why many people buy a few more to save. The colors are hit or miss depending on each shipment. Sometimes there is a full lineup of colors, while other times, the shelf only has a few leftover colors that not many people prefer. If you see a color you like sitting there, just grab it. If you wait to decide later, it might be completely gone when you return. Outdoor and Repair LED Headlamp. Atomic Beam sells headlamps for $15 to $20, and this $1.25 headlamp copies almost their entire formula, featuring 3 light modes: high, medium, and strobe. It only cuts back on the top head strap and the beam distance. That is exactly why Dollar Tree often gets a reputation for knockoffs, but when you actually try it, you'll see the close-range brightness is still excellent. Weighing just half an ounce, you can wear it all evening without forehead fatigue, unlike other headlamps with thick, bulky straps. An oil leak in your car, or a tire that needs changing around dusk in the garage, is never pleasant when you have to hold a flashlight in one hand and turn screws with the other. Putting this headlamp on leaves both hands completely free to work, providing enough light for fixing pipes under the cabinet or walking the dog at night. Expensive brand name headlamps require a top strap because their battery packs are heavier, whereas this lamp is lightweight, allowing it to eliminate that part, cutting it out without heavily affecting your everyday user experience. However, do not set your expectations too high. This is still a $1.25 item. The plastic around the bulb is quite thin, so if you use it roughly or subject it to a lot of impacts, it will crack more easily than the name brand version. Unless you often go overnight hiking and need to illuminate hundreds of yards away, this cheap dupe is still dependable for tasks around the house, as long as you handle it gently and do not expect it to be as durable as specialized gear that costs 10 times more. This headlamp copies Atomic Beam quite completely, but there is a kitchen knife nearby that is also duping OXO for 10 times cheaper. Crinkle Cutter Knife. Someone brought this knife out to use in front of the whole family without mentioning the price, letting everyone guess. Everyone thought it was a piece from OXO Good Grips, a brand famous for its Crinkle Cutter knife line priced at $10 to $12. No one expected this knife to cost just over $1. The corrugated steel blade is sharp, cutting every slice perfectly uniform, and the thick plastic handle provides a secure enough grip when pressing down on the cutting board. Holding them up for a close comparison makes it clear that nearly every line of this knife is directly inspired by OXO, and to be honest, it performs on par with the original, without warping or dulling quickly like many people feared before trying it. The label "Dollar Tree is full of junk" attached to it seems a bit unfair. But do not rush to expect it to be as durable as the authentic one if you cut continuously at a high intensity. The steel will lose its sharp edge faster over time. Regardless, this is not an everyday tool. It is only pulled out a few times a year when making crinkle-cut fries or sweet and sour pickles for a weekend party. Spending over $10 on an item you rarely touch feels like a bit of a waste, whereas this $1.25 knife can just sit ready in the drawer, available whenever needed without costing much at all. Clear acrylic egg holder. Picking up this acrylic egg holder, it is hard to believe it only costs $1.25 when placed next to the TJ Maxx version selling for $7.99. The transparency and the plastic quality are surprisingly identical, and even the label adhesive peels off completely clean without leaving a smudged residue like many other cheap items that used to frustrate you. Of course, it is not absolutely perfect. The capacity fits exactly 1 dozen eggs, so anyone who often buys the large 21 egg packs will find it a bit cramped. But in return, opening the refrigerator on a Sunday morning to prepare breakfast and seeing rows of eggs neatly arranged in a crystal clear tray instead of the wrinkly, damp cardboard carton from the supermarket feels much more pleasant. Eggs already come with a protective carton anyway, so this tray is mostly about aesthetics rather than a strict necessity. But think about it carefully. The nearly $7 price difference between the two is enough for you to buy another whole dozen eggs for next week. Not to mention, this tray is not always available on the shelves. When it goes out of stock, sometimes it takes a whole month to see it restocked. If you see it in stock, you should just grab it. Do not save it to decide later and end up regretting it. The kitchen is neat now, so let's head over to the garage section to see what's good. But there is definitely an item that will help you feel less regret every time you get expensive stuff dirty. Microfiber towel. On a few recent car care forums, quite a few people have been telling each other that the $1.25 microfiber towel at Dollar Tree has a design identical to the specialized towel line from Chemical Guys, a brand familiar to car enthusiasts that sells for about $15 for a 3-pack at AutoZone. Holding them up for comparison, you will see it is true. The fabric features a high-density weave and a super soft surface, holding water and trapping dust almost just as well. There was a time when you were struggling to wipe grease off a car engine block and accidentally grabbed a newly purchased kitchen towel. Seeing it turn black made you regret it deeply. That scenario does not need to happen again, because this towel is born to handle exactly that kind of dirty work without anyone having to feel bad about the cost. The edges are sometimes not perfectly straight like the brand name version, but wiping down the car windows after a rain shower shows it immediately. It leaves absolutely no scratches on the glass or the paint. It can be machine washed multiple times and remains durable. Throwing it away when it gets completely worn out requires no second thoughts. Gathering 4 to 5 towels to keep ready in the garage ensures that the next time there is an oil spill or dust buildup, you will have a towel to use right away, saving you from ruining any more expensive towels. Standard grip cutting mat. Crafters in various Cricut groups often rumor that this $1.25 crafter square mat works just as well as the authentic mat selling for $7.99 on Amazon or Michaels. The backing plastic thickness is equivalent, featuring a pre-printed measurement grid for precise alignment, and the standard grip adhesive layer keeps paper or vinyl from shifting when running through the cutting machine. You are making a few birthday cards for your grandchildren or cutting lettering to paste on the mailbox in front of your house. And every time you see your $8 Cricut mat lose its stickiness, it hurts your wallet. With this $1.25 mat, it is completely different. If it gets ruined, you replace it right away without hesitation. Because inherently, every cutting mat, whether expensive or cheap, loses its stickiness over time due to fabric dust and paper scraps. The new plastic smell when just peeling off the seal is slightly stronger than the brand name version, but leaving it to air out for a few hours solves it. For the money spent on one authentic mat, you can buy more than 6 mats here, a fairly simple math problem for anyone who has a hobby of doing handmade crafts at home. Plastic wrap with plastic cutter. Not every dupe at Dollar Tree is worth bringing home, and this is a prime example. Glad Press and Seal features an exclusive adhesive technology that creates a nearly absolutely airtight seal, whereas this dupe wrap, priced at just $1.25, is merely regular thin plastic with noticeably poorer cling and grip. The plastic serrated cutter attached to the cardboard box is quite weak, Pulling the wrap out to cut usually does not sever it cleanly, but instead wrinkles it, causing the plastic edges to stick to each other. You want to cover the rim of a bowl of leftovers containing sauce to store in the fridge. But you struggle endlessly, unable to cut a flat piece of plastic wrap because the blade is too dull. After wrapping and storing it, the plastic layer peels off on its own overnight, letting food odors spread throughout the refrigerator and risking cross-contamination between dishes. This is exactly the type of dupe that you should consider carefully before bringing home, because the only copied part lies in the outer packaging, while Glad's core sealing technology cannot be duplicated with cheap plastic. Food preservation directly affects your family's health, so buying a large-sized Glad roll at Costco remains a safer choice. Calculating long-term usage, it is still much more economical than repeatedly buying this dupe box. There are 3 final items left, and one of them relates directly to the object you hold in your hand every morning before leaving the house. Diluted liquid laundry detergent. Smelling it in the store, the scent is no different from Downy, the exact type of pleasant floral fragrance that makes you want to buy it immediately, thinking you'll save a ton of money compared to the large jugs at Costco or Walmart. However, the ratio of surfactants, the core ingredient for stripping away stains, is heavily diluted to maintain that price point. The authentic brand features a concentrated formula requiring only a small capful for a whole large load of laundry. Whereas with this bottle, you have to pour 3 to 4 times more just to get a little foam. When your children or husband come home from gardening or playing sports with clothes covered in sweat stains and dirt, the yellow stains remain completely intact after washing and drying. The clothes carry a faint musty odor mixed with a fake chemical fragrance, failing to achieve the expected results. Doing the math, the cost per load is not as cheap as the initial price suggests, because you have to use several times more to get a comparable clean. Diluted detergent is also prone to leaving residue on the fabric, causing skin irritation for anyone with sensitive skin. The savings that seemed like a steal at first turn out to drive up costs in the long run. So buying a Kirkland jug at Costco or Tide when it's on sale at Walmart remains a much more reliable choice for your family's clothes and skin. Reusable hot coffee cup with lid. In the morning, you hurriedly brew a cup of hot coffee to take in the car for work. Grab this Dollar Tree cup and suddenly let go because it is too hot, spilling coffee onto the car mat or your clothes. This is not an isolated incident. Quite a few people have reported the exact same thing in shopping groups, and real-world testing confirms it. A Starbucks cup keeps its exterior surface temperature at only around 156.7 degrees Fahrenheit, while the $1.25 Dollar Tree cup, sold in a 2-pack combo, shoots up to 169 degrees Fahrenheit. The plastic wall here is noticeably thinner, so heat transfers straight to the outside instead of being retained inside, causing a burning sensation and making it easy to scald your hand after holding it for just a few seconds. The lid is also made of brittle plastic, and the screw-on threads do not seal perfectly. As a result, walking or vibrating in the car easily causes water to leak out, exactly as many reviews have left similar warnings after buying it to try. A terrible start to the day just because of saving money in the wrong place is truly not worth it. Do not take risks with products that hold boiling water directly by hand like this, especially when your hand has to hold the cup throughout your drive. If you want to drink hot coffee safely, buying an authentic cup or using an extra thick leather insulating sleeve on the outside remains a much safer choice. Wire cabinet organizer shelf. In a few home organizing groups, someone bragged that this $1.25 wire shelf is a dupe of Room Essentials from Target. Looking at the picture, it does look identical, sharing the same neat tiered wire style. But if you try stacking a few heavy ceramic plates or canned goods bought from Costco on it, just a few days later, you will see the shelf leaning completely to one side. The iron frame here is flimsy, and the welds on the shelf legs are loose. Placed on a flat countertop, it wobbles noticeably from the very first time, before even being loaded with anything heavy. The Room Essentials shelf at Target cost around $5, a difference of less than $4. But the iron bars are solid and significantly thicker, with secure industrial welds that handle 4 to 5 times the load of the Dollar Tree version. Under a heavy load, the wire mesh in the middle of this shelf sags visibly, and the legs gradually deform. The risk of items collapsing is real, not an exaggeration. If ceramic plates slide out and shatter, the damage is much greater than the initial savings. Unless you only use it to stack a few light spice packets or empty plastic containers, when it comes to ceramics, glassware, or heavy canned goods, spending a few extra bucks for the room essential shelf at Target is more than worth it to keep your whole kitchen safe. The bad reputation of Dollar Tree did not come out of nowhere, but not every item deserves to be lumped into the low-quality category. Now that you know which items to grab and which to skip, your next visit to the store will save you a lot of time wondering.